Welcome back to a slice of 1990s Germany. Because for 20 points this week in Spring of European Automotive, you can go ahead and grab yourself the Mercedes-Benz 500E. Yes, that always reminds me of the E meme. If you know, you know. This thing has 322 brake horsepower, 354 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs 3,855 pounds, so this thing is hefty. Oh, and it also has a 5-litre engine. Being a car from 1992 and looking like this, it is along the same lines of stuff like the Mercedes-Benz AMG Hammer and also the Mercedes AMG, or just Mercedes-Benz, I think, the 190E. Anyway, from the front it does look pretty cool, and just like I say, like those other previous two cars, which did look very cool for their time. Going to the side, we've got a pretty cool looking two-tone paint right here. And then going to the back, it does look pretty cool indeed. And honestly, this style of Mercedes, I kind of like how they designed the back of it. It does look really cool. Going to the inside, it is basically just 1992 on the interior. It is a few buttons, dials and gauges, no screens and sights, but honestly, I kind of prefer it that way. A lot less seem to distract you. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a listen to that 5-litre engine. So going to the upgrades, jumping straight to conversion and straight to engine swap, we've got ourselves 4 available engines. We've got the 5.2 litre V10, the racing 7.2 litre V8, and we've also got the 6.9 litre V12, as well as the 6 litre V12 racing engine. And if you want, we can go ahead and also turbocharge or supercharge the stock engine too. Going to aero and appearance, we of course just have some bland Forza aero for the front, and going to the back, we have what my friend called the Honda wing, which is just more Forza aero, which honestly doesn't look good. I feel like a low-level spoiler probably would have fit better on there. And as for tyres, this thing doesn't even start out on street, it starts out on just bland, boring, really stock tyres. However, tuning is not going to be a problem for us because once again, Big Macintosh 762 is back with yet another cool tune for us. There's the share code for you to go ahead and download it, and I'm going to go ahead and download and install it myself too. So with this tune, we are now a bit lighter at 3,180 pounds, and we are rocking almost 500 brake horsepower at the top of A-Class. Let's go ahead and install. Honestly, I don't know how this thing's going to handle, but I've been told it's understeery and oversteery at the same time, so who knows? So going over to the paint shop now, we have actually some advanced paint groups, which is going to be, like I said earlier, that brilliant two-tone, the top being, well, the top bit, and paint group 2 being the bottom bit as well, which means we can actually make it look like a car that I think Fail Race would approve of. Going to colours, we've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 different colours for this thing, and the white does look really cool, as does this kind of silver grey combo. We do also have some cherry red instead of ketchup red, and we've got a really cool looking blue. That actually does look really nice. But for now, I think we're going to keep it in the colour we just had it in. But for now, I'm just going to nickname this car the Orange. So a fun fact about this, in terms of production line, only 10,479 units of this car were ever made, and apparently the UK is rumoured to have only 29. So I don't know where half those have gone. There's also rumoured to be 1,528 of these cars out in the United States. And away we go with this thing. We're up against a whole host of cars. We are just a shade over 3,100 pounds. So let's go ahead and see if we can put this thing out into first. Meanwhile, on the car figures, yes, those figures might have changed since new because of course car importing is a thing now, but I genuinely don't know how many actually now reside in the UK. What I do know is you can find these things online for anywhere from $3,677 US to $14,700 US. I'm not too sure what that is in pounds sterling, but hopefully if I remember in editing, that should be up on screen about now. I was not running out of breath towards the end of that sentence. You heard nothing. Or rather, I hope you heard something, because then that would mean it just would have been gameplay and no words were spoken, which would have been weird. So now we're going back to the twisty section of the Descenso Dorado Sprint, which is honestly probably one of my favourite tracks to use, especially for car testing, as it's a mix of tight turns and a lot of straight line speed as well. We've got a little bit of Sweden in front of us, which is now behind of us. They've flat packed themselves into 3rd place. Now with this car, you can definitely feel the weight of this thing. Honestly, it is very hefty, and no amount of weight reduction can fix that. But we can fix ourselves a 1st place by just gently giving the Audi a slight nudge. Or as I like to call it, a little bit of assistance. 95%, we are not too far from the finish now. One final turn to go. There's some cars that are really close to us, but that will not stop us from getting over the line in a rather nice 1st place with a time of 2 minutes 11. So here we are now back over at the upgrade shop. We're going to jump over here, and I think we're going to grab the 6.9 litre V12 and fully build that up, because we're going to try and attempt to make this thing a little bit of a drag build. As to how well it will go, I don't really know on that one. So while I'm building this thing up, a little fun fact about the Mercedes-Benz 500E, also known as the W124, was apparently this was regarded by a lot as one of the last true good Mercedes-Benz, mostly due to its build quality, styling, and apparently the fact this thing was built like an absolute tank. And no, not just because it was heavy. And of course, no drag car be complete without two things: drag tyres, of course, and some good old off-road springs and dampers. Also, it's now about time to say this thing has 305s on the back. So with those upgrades applied, we are now sat at 3,244 pounds with 1,368 brake horsepower, and we're kind of like 3/4 of the way through S1. However, it still doesn't stop me from the pain of having to tune this entire thing. Oh boy. Also, I've just noticed in the bottom right, apparently it says this thing can go an estimated 300 miles an hour. So here we are now back over at the edge of the festival, so let's go ahead and see if we get a wheelie check out of this thing. Do we get anything? Kind of, yes and no really. So here we are now over at the drag strip, we're going on launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of the absolute orange behemoth that is the 500E. We've got a lot of power, a lot of weight, so hopefully that weight should help us propel forward a bit. We've got 197 through the camera, and off the end of the drag strip we've got ourselves 225, and a sandstorm where I can't hear myself think. And like normal, no brakes. Okay, so here we are now back at the upgrades place. We're going to go ahead, throw on some semi-slick tyres, and also make our way over to platform and handling to go ahead and put back on the racing springs and dampers to try and give this thing a little bit of an extra helping hand. However, before we go any further, here's this week's Forzathon shop. We've got the Koenigsegg 1 from 2015, we've got the Germany T, we've also got the Welcome Spring car horn, which sounds a bit like this. Oh, isn't that fancy? We've also got ourselves a Lamborghini Centenario, the Natural Suit, we've got the Horizon Super Wheel Spin and the Horizon Regular Wheel Spin as well. Now, out to the motorway to find this thing's top speed. Well, we're here now at the edge of the motorway, and a BMW has decided to join us for some unknown reason, but let's go ahead and get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go to find out the top speed of this thing. We're going to see a BMW absolutely floor it past us in probably about 2 seconds, but, well, the video's not about them, it's about us. Although, if you happen to be watching this, then hello. Now, fun fact about the 500E is in 1994, this last year of this very car's production, it was also renamed to the E500, the main difference being the, I guess, E-enlarged front brakes. I know that joke was a bit of a push, but anyway, let's go ahead and get ourselves out of the speed zone at a whopping 263.08, and the downhill and speed zone, or speed camera rather, is still to go, so let's get going. Or rather, let's keep going, as we're kind of already going already. Yep, that made sense. And through the camera at 272.44, going downhill 274, 275 I did see for a split second out of this thing, which is honestly absolutely insane, given this thing still weighs a whopping 3,200 pounds, which is very, very, very heavy, but I guess the extra horsepower really did make all the difference. And also the BMW's only just turned up, and presuming to be leaving? I don't know. And now it's time to go and make this car do something which I don't think it's done before. Yeah, you guessed it, we are going drifting, so let's go ahead and throw this thing in here. It's got a stupid amount of power, honestly. Let's go ahead and try and keep it sideways and see what we get. We're doing pretty well so far, and out the other side at 40,148 points, which is honestly pretty good for this thing, you know, considering it weighs about as much as the average warehouse. And now here we go for a little bit of a higher speed entry, going back for round number 2, flinging this way sideways with every ounce of everything we can do, and doing a terrible job of words, but a decent job of drifting because we've got 35,340 odd points. Which, let's be fair, I could probably do better, but oh well. There's a sandstorm that way, so I am going to go not that way. Oh, there's no BMW here anymore. That's sad. In the meantime, that is it for this video on the Mercedes-Benz 500E. It is definitely a car worth getting, only 20 points, and really won't take up much of your time to get. But it probably will take up most of your time to drive. It is a lovely little dose of madness on 4 wheels, and definitely worth the pickup. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching, tech out. See ya! To space with ye!